Justis, you are going to be on the hot seat. This is kind of like the how you started segment. So what is HANSNAP?
HANSNAP is a gadget that I invented.
Okay.
Basically, you slip your smartphone into it and it locks it to your hand, and then it enables a bunch of different ergonomic filming positions.
Okay. So how did you come up with the idea?
So it was this last Valentine's Day. My wife and I were at a romantic evening of death metal in San Francisco.
And she's in the studio audience
She's
today.
she's here with us supporting. So I was crowd surfing, and I wanted to capture that moment of crowd surfing.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah, I thought to myself, strangers groping me. I want to record this.
It's very transcendent in a way that you're just kind of floating on a bunch of people you've never met in your life. So I wanted to capture that experience and share it with people that may never experience that. Mm-hmm. And I wanted, at first I was thinking, oh, my wife could film me, but then I didn't want my wife in the mosh pit, subjected to those perils and such. And then I was I'm going to film myself. And then I realized I don't want my phone dropping in the midst of a bunch of savages. I may never see my phone again. So immediately after that, I began prototyping, trying to design a way that I could strap my phone to my hand, filming myself. And, I got some of my buddies and we did some CAD drawings and designings, and I did some 3D printing and was sewing and just put together this gadget that I brought into the studio. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the inception of it.
Kelly, when's the last time you've been in a mosh pit?
No.
It didn't happen. I think I was like 20 years ago at the Palladium with the Beastie Boys, but I think
I'm with you, Matthew. It's been a long time.
Yeah, that was it. I don't think that we didn't have iPhones back then. Yeah. Yeah. So that just seems like incredibly hard. Can I see this for a second? So I am holding this. Actually, for our viewing audience, here's what it is. This seems incredibly hard to make. This is not like, I don't know, when I make a company, or like it seems like a lot of my people I work with mostly, it's like a website. And it's like, it's a lot of code like that. You actually had to physically design this. What is the process? And we're going to talk about your Kickstarter soon. But what's the process of actually getting this from like a concept in your head actually to a physical product?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I've invented a handful of things in my life, and just I like thinking about physical products. I like, working in the shop and just kind of putting things together. So when I started this, it was somewhat intuitive because I knew what I wanted to do, but actually designing the hinge mechanism and how it articulates and wraps around took a handful of weeks of just drawing out what I was thinking and conceptualizing. And then, it's crazy the day and age we live in. I was able to then 3D print what I was imagining.
Oh, wow.
Because that's kind of limiting, you don't have necessarily a shop that you can go and, I don't know, carve out metal and wood and whatever. So 3D printing was, incredible at this stage.
Did you get that done locally or over the hill, or?
I got that done. There's a shop in the North Bay that did a fantastic job.
In putting that together for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So, this is a new endeavor for you. Have you had other entrepreneurial endeavors that you've done? Or, because I know you work for a solar company right now, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this like your first jaunt at being an entrepreneur?
Kind of. And it's interesting when you open up the show, you're talking about as an entrepreneur born or made, and, nature versus nurture sort of thing. And I just remember thinking back as a kid, I was always, growing up in Scotts Valley, I'd go to the local store owners and ask them if I could do work for them and try and hustle up work. I had a regular lawn mowing gig that I hustled up on my own when I was a kid. So it's always kind of been in the back of my mind to do my own thing. Sorry, what was the question?
So have you always? I know. So have you always been an entrepreneur? And I think you kind of said that's like, as a kid you were kind of doing that.
Yeah. So I have a cool story. I mean, it didn't start out very cool. I broke my ankle maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I was going to this conference, and the chow hall to the main conference area was a long hall, and I didn't want to be on crutches. Crutches are terrible for anybody that's been in that position. So I saw these knee scooters around, and they're at the time they're kind of prohibitively expensive, and I needed something now. So I took a Razor scooter that I had laying around the house, and I fashioned a knee scooter out of it that I was cruising around. So here I am in full, leg ankle cast, and I'm bombing hills on this cool little knee scooter that I made. And I started getting dirty looks from people that thought I was just, being a clown at this conference or whatever. And then people started coming up to me and just really liked what I made. And I was trying to figure out how to manufacture that and kind of have an extreme sports version of this, medical device. And it's somewhat of a contradiction in terms, I suppose. But when you're somebody who wants to do extreme things and you get broken like that, you don't want to stop. You don't want to take that time to recover righteously. You want to go bomb hills and stuff. So that business venture didn't really work out, but it's still in the back of my mind.
Good.
It's still there.
I was just thinking about you because you're also a lead singer of a band, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, isn't that kind of like an entrepreneur-like kind of endeavor there? You sell CDs, you make a product, you sell it?
More so than I'd ever realized. Yeah. It's crazy. These guys, I grew up listening to Metallica and idolizing all these different rock stars and whatever. And you think of music as being so organic. It's like, you think of a tune and then you get your buddies together and you guys just jam for hours and then everybody loves you, and it's very much so like a business. We've gone as, we've developed our band to, the best it's been, this version right now. But we've gone through literally 20 members and, Craigslist ads and meeting people and flaky musicians. And it's crazy, the amount of work that goes into starting a band that does anything.
Well, you actually did get your band, though, in the Kickstarter video, right?
Yeah.
So let's get into that, the Kickstarter. That is happening when for your product?
So the goal is this next Friday. We want to launch on Black Friday, mostly because it's the most metal day we could possibly launch.
Okay. Very fitting.
But also just pragmatically. But realistically, we have a lot of things to cover. Going into the Kickstarter, we're ramping up. We're getting all the things tailored. The video is almost done. I was crowd surfing in my video. My band played. We do an art and music party at my house, and I just launched off this vocal box wearing my HANSNAP, capturing some of the footage in the moment. It was a lot of fun. And
so you have some lofty goals, though. This is not like a small $2,000 Kickstarter project.
Right.
This is pretty big. What are you going for?
So my goal is $90,000.
Okay.
And that's a very realistic cost of manufacturing. Getting professional designers, having tooling costs, manufacturing costs, just all the things associated with bringing a physical product to market. And I know, Kelly, that's something that she can attest to as well, I'm sure.
So with Kickstarter, though, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have to get to your goal, right? And if you say 90,000 is the goal I'm going for, and you get to 88,000, you don't get that money, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So do you have? I'm guessing you have your process in place, but what is your process of making sure that you get to that point? What are some of the things you're going to do to make sure you get to that point where enough people know about your product or know about Kickstarter? Sorry.
Yeah, so there's a number of things. Crowdfunding's been a tremendous boon to entrepreneurs because now you're not necessarily beholden to investors. You can come up with a great idea and then launch it on your own. And so because of that, there's been this kind of swarm of coverage around that, people figuring out how it works, and there's a lot of great stuff online. So what we're trying to do is just kind of activate the local community, fantastic shows like this one here, and
thank you.
Just getting your local network of Facebook, social media, all that stuff, getting awareness.
So it's gonna be a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you going to do like a 1 day? I mean, 1 day, 1 month or 2 months? Do you know how long the Kickstarter is going to be? Have you worked that out yet?
Yeah, so I think the Kickstarter is going to be 45 days.
45 days. Okay.
What we want to do, the winter season is kind of a slow season, and there's a lot of holidays in there. People are traveling and so forth. So the goal is to launch right after Thanksgiving, get Christmas, New Year's, and then I'm actually going to CES in Nevada, there.
Yeah.
And that's...
I heard that show's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. I was actually out there a couple weeks ago for a solar convention, and the convention center there in Vegas is just huge. There's, thousands and thousands of people there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's the goal.
So you have, I think, Guerrilla Branders. They're going to be helping you with that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So one of my, closest friends started a local media ad, agency here in town, and my wife works for them, and they've assembled a team, and they've really been fantastic advocates for this project and helping me do media and branding and awareness, and also they also helped start an incubator in Scotts Valley with another local entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, Andy Van Valer helped start Borland and Netflix, and so he's been an amazing advocate and business advisor. And
great. Well, we'll all be supporting that Kickstarter. What's the website?
Thank you.
What's your website so we know where to go to on December 3rd? No, what's Kickstarter again?
So the Kickstarter is Black Friday,
Okay, what date is that? I should know.
the 28th.
28th? Okay, whatever Black Friday is.
28.
Okay, and then the website?
The website is, right now it's hansnap.com, HANSNAP.com.
Okay, and they can find out about the Kickstarter there.
Yeah.
About when it's actually available.
Yep.